Existence Brewing.
Here's another Existence Brewing single shot.
Let's break down the generationals. So we've got millennials who were born between the years of 1981 and 1996. Sting. 1997 to 2012 is Generation Z, or the Zoomers. And Generation Alpha is 2013 to 2024. And then you've got the Generation Beta, which is 2025 to 2039. So those are the ones who are just being born right now. Generation X is 1965 to 1980. Baby boomers are 1946 to 1964. And then we have the silent generation, also known as the greatest generation, 1928 to 1945.
The children of the Depression and the Second World War.
Interestingly enough, you just jumped to my first point on this. A lot of this has to do with, obviously, social forming, when you grew up, during what time period, as what was going on in the world. And obviously the silent generation, you nailed it. Great Depression, World War II, the baby boomers, it was post-World War II, Vietnam era. In Generation X, which is your generation, it was the Cold War and the rise of personal computing. And then millennials, it was the coming of age in the new millennium, the dawn of the internet. So that was my generation. And then you've got the Generation Z, which is they've never known a world without the internet. And so it just is all very commonplace. And then, of course, Generation Alpha, COVID-19. That was the big event happening there.
You can follow the bouncing wars started and protracted by industrialists from the first on for a number of those generations, because the first generation you mentioned, the greatest, is they're going through the Depression as a result of economic dropouts that occurred post First World War.
Right.
And then you're going through, post Second World War, where yay, capitalism, we won. Mm-hmm. And
the
things
industrial
are booming,
machine. Yeah.
And the Industrial Revolution takes off. Suburbia is born. Everyone has a job. Everyone can buy a new car. The economy is rolling. Factories are here. They're not being outsourced. And then you look at Vietnam, which is, the generation, we're fucking sick of war. We don't want to kill each other for gain and profit, even if it means we're all going to live better lives. We're tired of this. So there's an ideological divide that begins. There's an actual inherentness to the culture, and it's young people that says this is wrong.
Well, and I think war was a big part of the first two generations. And then you get into this idea where, obviously the Afghanistan conflict and the second Iraqi war was launched during the millennials era, but they don't really recognize that as a shaping. It's just the internet has become something that is heavily adapted, and then technology kind of takes over for the millennials and then the Gen Z. So it's interesting that wars and were a big part of the first two. Last two, it's more about technology and AI, given, I guess, the context.
War moved into an automatonic state. Anyway, we don't really have wars anymore because, the most powerful nations with the most powerful militaries on the earth don't fight each other. They just do backdoor handshakes to, they steer clear of, annihilating each other, because they just work together to make sure that there are small incursions around the world so that both can profit from them. That's been going on since the Iran-Contra deal of the 1980s. But anyway.
Yeah, but it's interesting that the last two or last three generations wouldn't necessarily be shaped by conflict as much, even though there clearly was conflicts going on during that era.
Yeah, but conflicts are video games. Conflicts moved into a technological era, starting with the first Gulf incursion, because, everything is suddenly computerized warfare. Yes, there are soldiers in tanks on the ground. Yes, there are, but a lot of those things are just being fired from remote locations, and they, the weapons do it all. And now we've moved into a time where it's drones. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard with this latest Iran thing that's going on in the last couple of months, the U.S. shoots down 3 or 4 drones. Iran shoots down a drone. I mean, it's all automatons that are doing this. And right now they're piloted by people, but at some point in probably the very near future, and what am I saying? The military is always at least 30 to 40 years more advanced than any tech that's hit general society. So they're probably using AI to fly these things now.
We hope this single shot inspired you to want more Existence Brewing. To check out full episodes of the podcast and for more, head to existencebrewing.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts online.
Existence Brewing.